Well, hello again. Welcome to Phil's Workshop. Hello, folksies. Okay, well, I'm finally back in my workshop. I've got it emptied. All my kit now is out my way. I've now got, if I turn that round, hopefully you can see, all the centre of the workshop is all empty. So it's just me and the tools. Now then, what have we got to say? Well, we've still got some work to do. Not only got some work to do about sorting out, but we've got stuff to talk about over new tools that we've had. And we've had one or two. Well, I just get rid of that for a moment over there. A friend of mine has been in Aldi, and he picked up this mains tester. I'd look at it, decided it worked for him, as he didn't know how to work it. Well, of course, these sort of things are nothing new to me, these aren't. But what they are with these, the beauty about these is these are a non-invasive mains tester, i.e. normal mains testers coming in the screwdriver where you have to touch the end, then it glows to show you the power's there. Meters, which I've got in my toolbox, and these are uninvasive types of probes. So it doesn't have to go in. It doesn't have to actually touch the actual mains terminal. Now, if I can twist that round there, and hopefully, yeah, you can actually see the sockets here, right? Now, all I have to do, now at the moment it's green to say as it's working. Now, all I have to do is come close to it, and as you can see, it's pulsating and beeping. That shows as there's current in that cable. And the mains cable is approximately right there. As it goes faster, if I can get it again, there, that's where the mains cable is, and you can just about see it going up. If I bring it up, it starts going to a single pulse, which means the cable's twisted round. Now then, again, there we go. That's where it is. On the box you get nothing, but you go into where your mains is, and away it'll go. Turn that off, and it's dead. There's nothing. I wouldn't turn around and say as that was the be all and end all of testing. What I would say about these, if any of you are thinking about buying them, the brilliant part about these is the fact of the actual cable. And what it can do is, if you've checked the fuse and the fuse is okay, as most people do, because I mean we have 13 amp fuses in our plugs. The first thing you do when you take the plug out is, I mean, even though this is not a plug, it's like a plug, you'll take the centre screw out, open it up, and if you've got a tester, you'll test the fuse. If you haven't, most people keep new fuses around the house. Straight away you'll put a new fuse in there, bung it back in, switch it on. If it works, great, you've cured the problem. If it doesn't, usually what can happen is it can have a break in the wire. Now, I haven't got any of that sort of cable about which has got a break in it. But what you can do is if I haven't got one there as I can actually use. If you were to stroke it down the length of a cable, I especially like if it's a cable drill or vacuum cleaner or even extension lead, they get twisted and bent out of shape, and what can happen is over time, as it keeps on bending, the wires on the inside, the separate fragments, can fracture, and if it fractures, it breaks. Now, what that'll tell you is if it's the mains wire that's broke, because there's a possibility. Now, here's another thing as well you have to be careful of with these. You've checked the fuse is okay, you've put that on there, and you're tracing it all the way down the cable, you get it down to the other end, and you think to yourself, it still works. It's still got power going down there. The one thing you can't check is it can't check the negative side, because you've got no way of knowing. You can try it might work, because actually it's electricity, when it works, will work in a loop. If you think about it, you've got the positive coming in, or the live side coming in, will go down through a switch, taking the respect that the switch is working correctly. You operate the switch, it'll go through the switch down to the motor. When it gets to the motor, it goes through the brush, through the commutator, and then it'll go round the windings of the actual motor of the armature, come up the other side onto another one and pick up the return, or live or neutral or negative, whichever way you want to call it, back up again to the plug, back up to where it is. So theoretically you could trace it that way, and probably that might show it. The only thing is it will show for definite as if you've got a break in your positive rather than in the negative. You might find it, you might not. Good little test it, but it does have its limitations. Would I buy it? Nah, not really. In some respects, it's all right, but as a useful tool, it's very limited, somewhat bloody useless. In certain circumstances, it might work okay, but in the majority of things, it isn't worth an atom. So that's the mains tester. Okay, but you know, for those that know about sparky work, it's pretty damn useless. But even so, my mate gave it me, so thank you very much. I will use